Hi, I'm Sandy Allnock, Prima Ribbonista for May Arts, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make some beautiful bottles using some May Arts Twisted Burlap in a whole selection of colors. I'm going to start off showing you some samples of some Christmas gifts I did. This was a glass that I put some coffee beans into and a little votive candle with some Christmas colors and ribbon around it. And here's one that was a dollar store vase. It was not a very pretty one, but looked much nicer, and I'll show you some stamping on it later. And here's one that was a really heavy-duty crystal one with some kind of weird oddball crystal, but I got it at the Goodwill store and I thought it would make a prime candidate for this technique. So I'm going to show you how to do this with a root beer bottle. You can use any type of bottle that you want, and I'm sure there's lots of other surfaces that you could do this with as well. Any objects around your house that need some decorating on them. I'm using score tape. This is 1/2-inch score tape, and it's a really sticky double stick type of tape. It also comes in sheets, and if you have a really flat thing you can use the sheets on it, but since I'm going to be wrapping around that narrowing part and it's going to have some rounded sides to it, I'm just going to use round after round of a sheet of the tape itself. And I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to get my May Arts Twisted Burlap. This comes in lots of different fun colors that you'll see on these projects. And I also have called it jute cord for a long time, so it's also known as that. And your first round on the bottom is your very straightest one, because if you get that one off, everything else will be off. And I've marked for myself in my head a start spot where the very first place I put that cord on there is going to be where I start and stop all of my colors as I go around. So I'll have a back side to this, and that will be kind of hidden from view when you look at the whole bottle itself. So I'm just going to go round and round. Depending on how much time you take with it, you might need to nudge some of the little pieces of the ribbon down onto each other so it's nice and tight. If you're using a clear bottle, you'll have less trouble with your light colors. If you're using a dark bottle like this one, the brown will show really nicely. The brown bottle will show through, so if you have a little gap, it doesn't matter. But now you can see I'm starting my red at the same place where I started the brown, so that joining spot is going to be the same, so that'll be the back side of this entire bottle as I go up and add different colors around. And I'm going to now switch to the cream color. This one is the one that I'm going to stamp on, because I saw a bottle in an antique shop that had some really beautiful stamping on it, and I thought, oh, I'd love to try that. So that was my inspiration for doing this project. And so I'm just going round and round and round. Now I did find that I had a lot more fussing to do to try to get that dark brown bottle not to show through a whole lot of the light colored twisted burlap. So might do better if you're going to use a light color to stamp on, that you might use a light colored bottle. But it still worked anyway. I still love how this thing came out. So I'm just going to go round and round and round. I will not bore you with the wrapping the entire thing. But I also wanted to suggest, while I'm sitting here talking while this is going on, once you do decide if you're going to stamp on this thing, wrap a piece of paper around it and practice your stamping on that so you know where you're stamping. It's going to be in reverse of what you're seeing, and I sort of got myself twisted around when I was doing my stamping. So I recommend practicing, because once you stamp on it, you can't unstamp it, and redoing all of this work is a little tough. So I used a second color and a third color now to make the top section. So I'm doing the darker or medium brown color, switching to red, and then I'm going to top it off with brown that will reflect the brown on the very bottom of this bottle. And just going to finish off wrapping it all the way around as I get closer to the end here. It's getting a little tougher because I have less to hold on with. But you don't want to peel off all of it too soon, because the grease from your fingers will de-stickify the score tape. So you want to make sure it's as sticky as possible. So I'm just peeling it off as I go. So as I finish this up, the next step that I'm going to do is going to be the stamping portion. And as I said, I didn't practice it ahead of time, but you're going to get to see just stamping one part that I did well, because I want to show you the good parts. So I have the grasses that I want to do along the bottom. This is a memory box stamp, and I just wanted grasses all along the bottom. I have a lighthouse stamped on one side, and I just rolled it. Had my stamp facing upward. There's a little empty spot on my bottle, so I'm just going to ink it back up again. I'm going to line up. I'm looking at it kind of from underneath. I'm going to line up where I want that, and I'm going to tap just that portion onto the stamp so that I can complete that. You want to pick stamps that are really forgiving because this is not going to be your most accurate stamping ever unless you do this a lot and get very, very used to how to do it. Here you can see the stamping was a little too light. I didn't ink my stamp up quite as much as I ought to have. I did try some other stamping on bottles, and with those I used VersaFine ink instead of Memento, but here I wanted to color with my Copics. So I was trying the Memento, and between not inking it up well and my Memento pad not being as juicy, I will have to go back in, and you'll see a picture of the finished one at the end that has some of the lines drawn back in, the parts that are kind of disappearing. But it is going to be a soft look because you're obviously stamping and coloring onto this jute cord, this kind of twine, and it's going to be soft. That's just the nature of it. So if you want a really crisp image, well, you'll have to find another surface to stamp on. But I even got a really soft blue in the sky with just a light touch of a blue marker. So it was really fun to experiment with this and see how it colored on the actual piece itself. Here's the finished bottle. I really love how it came out. Once I went back in with my black marker, I really got some more detail added back in, and I really loved how it came out in the long run. The bottle on the left is that little jar from the very beginning of this video. I added some flowers to it. And on the right is a Perrier bottle that I did the same technique on. Use a big stamp that's really forgiving because you're going to have to roll it a couple different directions, and you'll have to do some practicing on maybe paper that you place around the bottle so that you can get the feel for how to roll it both sideways and up and down to be able to get a full image stamped onto the actual bottle. Thank you so much for taking a moment to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please click the like button down below. You can hit subscribe down there as well to get lots more great videos from May Arts Ribbon.